Learn to measure people by the narrowness or breadth of their vision. Avoid entangling yourself with those who cannot see the consequences of their actions, who are in a continual reactive mode. They will infect you with this energy. Your eyes must be on the larger trends that govern events, on that which is not immediately visible. Never lose sight of your long-term goals. With an elevated perspective, you will have the patience and clarity to reach almost any objective. Robert Greene. Welcome to Flourish. I'm Diane Discusses, and you are in the right place to create positive actions to imprint on those you love and live an inspired life. And today I am discussing my favorite chapter from the Laws of Human Nature. It's called the Law of Shortsightedness, or Elevate Your Perspective. If you haven't read the book, I can highly recommend it as an insight as to why people act the way they do. Each chapter of this book is a lesson that naturally unfolds to provide you with actions you can take to create a positive mindset, elevate your well-being, and live an extraordinary life. If you've missed any of the episodes thus far, I will add them to the show notes so you can go back and have a listen. With an elevated perspective, you will have the patience and clarity to reach almost any objective. I love this because what do we really want? We want to reach our goals. We want to create a life that we love, and we want success and happiness. So how do we elevate our perspective in order to have such patience and clarity? First of all, you need to create an awareness of yourself and the actions of others. There is so much drama that our senses are drawn to that we need to just take a moment and step back from it all rather than getting swept up in the current. We need to remind ourselves to use our common sense and understand there are always consequences to our decisions when they're not very well thought out. So if you are tired of learning everything of the hard way in life through hindsight, I'm going to share the 4 strategies to come over them. These are from the Laws of Human Nature. But before I do, I just want to preface this with the preparation that is required in order for you to develop foresight, farsightedness, looking forward, not in the rearview mirror. You have to step back, relax, open your mind versus getting swept up in the moment. Remember, there's no quick fixes, and don't let any shiny objects distract you. Laser focus about what you want. You need to review the pros and cons. What is the decision you're making? Does it align with your long-term goals? Does it align with your personality, your persona? This can be in reference to any decision you make, whether it is personal or business, whether it's your family, your spouse, your children. Think about this. When you are thinking of your own decisions, you need to make your own perspective. You do. In other words, and I'm going to quote Greene, this process involves distance from your own present, a deeper look at the source of the problems, a wider perspective on the overall context of the situation, and look further into the future, including the consequences of your actions and our own long-term priorities. So I love that. You got to set those priorities. You got to get that straight. I did an entire episode 55, on 3 tips 3 tips to reach your goals, and I'm going to link it in the show notes as well, because a lot of people say to me, like, hey, what do you mean goal setting, long-term goals? I know short-term goals. I know what I need to do for the week. Yes, you do. And that episode will give you some really good ideas on how to set yourself up for long-term success. But let's get to the 4 strategies that help you elevate your awareness. And I don't think they are what you're expecting. First and foremost, consequences. You're stepping back, you're reviewing the big picture, and you're creating your life strategy. Question everything. Question your own decision making. Talk it out. Make a list. Write it down. The pros and the cons of your decision. Is waiting a better idea? Maybe sleep on it. Do you act quickly and hope for the best? Make some real conscious decisions here by reviewing the consequences as closely as possible. Then the decisions come a little bit easier. They do. Next, tactics, or what I like to call pick your battles. This is especially effective in a family or spouse dynamics. Ego seems to take over what you're saying, and the next thing you know, you're both wanting to be right, and the next thing is someone's sleeping on the couch. Or someone's going to bed angry, or whatever the situation may be. Instead of talking out loud what you really want to say in the heat of the moment, change your perspective. Have a little chat with yourself instead. If you can, step back from trying to win an argument because it's going to change your life, win with your actions instead. Be the voice of reason, be the voice of calm, or be quiet. Remember, each of us have different perspectives. It's best to have a strategy that protects your energy, your time, and your spirit, because it's draining. It can just slog you down. Don't lose that nice energy you've worked so hard to build up on somebody else's agenda. Next, ticker tape fever. I like this one because it kind of has a reference to the stock market, but this is all about how people get caught up in the moment. They get caught up in the what's trending online, what's happening on Twitter. Twitter's like, it's what's happening now, it's like there's so much going on, like it's humanly impossible to even keep up with that. But what you really need to do is slow down. The days are long, but the years are short. And the best way of using this strategy is to practice patience. You can actually do this as a little trick for yourself, kind of like, let's reflect back on the last month, the last quarter, the last year. Where did your time go? What did you spend it on? Were you just reacting, or were you being proactive? Were you worried about other people's perceptions, or were you changing your perspective? Ask yourself, when you run into an obstacle, are you seeing it as part of your pathway and working through it? Or are you surrendering to the frustration of the challenge? It's like, oh my, I don't want to have to do another thing, learn another thing. Why does this always happen to me? Use that to fuel you forward. And the final one is lost in trivia. When you reach that point of overwhelm, when you reach that point that you are stressed, it's really difficult to see the top of the mountain, to look past the trees, You're walking through the forest and you don't know which way to turn. You've lost your direction. Give yourself a break and remind yourself you don't need to know everything. You don't need to do everything. Set your compass and adjust as you go. Trust the process. Technology has provided us with really good tools, and if we use them properly, life is a little bit easier. But it also can be a weapon of mass distraction. And I heard a statistic the other day that we spend 3 hours a day on our cell phones. I'm like, what? Seriously? Oh no. Oh no. I am being very, very conscientious of my time with my phone and when I am allowing it to intervene. So, anyways, it helps you prioritize. When you prioritize, it'll help you reach your long-term goals. And they're walking up that mountain a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. You just keep going, keep going, keep going. And eventually, the forest clears, you're in open air, and you can finally see the top. Reach for the top. Keep going. Because guess what? It's not crowded at the top. It's crowded at the bottom. So if you're the one that keeps moving forward, you will reach your long-term goal, and that can be whatever it is. You define what success is. You define what your goals are. You define what your priorities are, and make it a healthy one, because if you are deliberate with your plans, over time, you'll also be able to see weaknesses and adjust from there. Greene says, derive even greater pleasure from reaching your long-term goals and overcoming adversity. This expanded relationship to time will have a definite effect on you. Don't you love that? Expanded relationship to time. It will make you calmer, more realistic, more in tune with the things that matter. It will also make you a superior strategist in life, able to resist people's inevitable overreactions to what is happening in the present and to see further into the future, a potential power that we humans have only begun to tap into. Are you kidding me? The power of that is amazing, amazing. And I really want you to think priorities, think what is important, because sometimes you do have to go to battle, sometimes you do have to go to the mattresses, and sometimes it is going to be awkward. Stay on a path and prioritize. Pick your battles. Is it going to change your life? Is it going to change someone else's life for the better? Really think hard, and that's what perspective is all about. And if you're really struggling with this whole like time, oh, how do I manage my time? And oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. I also have an excellent episode 44 on time management, and I'll add that also into the show notes. But this expanded relationship to time is an amazing concept. So you have to trust the process, trust yourself, trust your intuition. Even if you're surrounded by naysayers, there is something you are really, really jazzed to get going and get doing, and you can do it. And use it as an example to share with others. Share with those you imprint upon, those you mentor, those little tiny humans that you take care of. Help them learn to see different perspectives. It really opens the mind. It opens the mind up. Your children should know how to elevate their perspective. I think there'd be a lot less bullying out there if children were more aware of exactly what is going on. Greene says, sanity and balance do not come naturally. They are powers we acquire through great effort, and they represent the height of human wisdom. Sanity and balance do not come naturally. That's why I started laughing. I'm just like, that is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So I hope that's helped. I hope you're going to try and elevate your perspective to set those long-term goals. I'm going to include all kinds of additional links in the show notes to help you along the way, because this is a game changer. Be aware of yourself and those around you. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me today. I truly appreciate it. And remember, I would love a comment in the show notes. What really resonated with you? What has made your life change? What is it that really gave you a better perspective? And it also helps other people find the show when there's comments, whether you're on iTunes, you're on YouTube, you're on, Instagram TV, wherever you're listening or watching the show. We have so many people around the world now listening to this show. It is fantastic. So you might be on Spotify, you might be on Ghana, you might be on Google Play. I don't know. But I love the comments and I read them all, and I would love to hear from you. And remember to follow me on Clubhouse at Inspired Diane, because we're starting live discussions soon. So that'll also just, give people another outlet to, communicate with one another. And I think it's kind of a fun idea. And remember, this episode, this chapter gives you an aha moment when you look at that. Never lose sight of your long-term goals. Live an inspired life.